Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am so excited to have you here today because we are tackling a concept that is absolutely everywhere right now. I mean, you can't scroll through tech news without seeing it, but honestly, it is wildly misunderstood. We're talking about agentic AI architecture. My goal for you today is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. We are going to cut straight through all that industry hype and build a really precise, practical mental model. By the end of our time together, you're going to know exactly how to tell the difference between a simple AI chatbot and a true powerhouse AI agent. So, if you've been wondering what an AI agent actually is, why it matters so much more than your standard chatbot, and what your very first agent build should look like, well, you are in exactly the right place.
But first, I want to start off with a slightly provocative question. It's one that literally every developer, product manager, and tech enthusiast needs to be asking themselves right now. Are you over-engineering your AI? You see, the reality is the phrase AI agent gets thrown around very loosely these days. And because of that, the single biggest mistake that new builders make is creating this incredibly complex agent for a task that a simple chatbot could have handled in a single shot. Doing that adds unnecessary cost, it adds massive complexity, and it drastically increases the chances of your system breaking, all for absolutely no added value. Today, we're going to fix that.
Okay, so here's our game plan for the next few minutes. We'll start by moving beyond the basic chatbot to understand the core differences. Then we'll break open the anatomy of an agent to see how it works. Next, we'll use a travel planning analogy to make it real, followed by the actual decision criteria you should use for your own projects. And finally, we'll wrap the whole thing up with a real-world case study on job matching. Let's kick things off by looking at what lies beyond the basic chatbot and really dig into the structural divide. There is a fundamental, I'd almost say philosophical difference between these two systems. It's not just about one being smarter than the other, right? It's about a fundamentally different architecture. And it all boils down to one core truth. A chatbot responds, but an agent acts. Think about a chatbot for a second. It takes your user input, generates a block of text, and then it just sits there. It waits for your next input. It's completely reactive. The unit of work here is a single turn. One question, one answer. It has absolutely zero concept of a broader goal beyond just formulating that immediate reply. An agent, on the other hand, is proactive. The unit of work for an agent isn't a turn at all. It's a task. It is structurally designed to pursue an overarching goal autonomously.
So what is the anatomy of an agent? What actually makes an AI capable of taking action?
How does this actually work under the hood? Well, there are exactly 3 structural features that elevate a system from a mere text generator into a true agent. First up, we have goal pursuit across multiple steps. An agent doesn't just blurt out an answer, it plans out a multi-step journey to solve a complex problem. Second, and this is absolutely huge, tool use. Agents can call functions. They can search the live web, run code interpreters, query your databases, or trigger calendar APIs. This extends their capability way, way beyond just generating words. And third, state and memory within a task. While chatbots usually treat every single message in total isolation, agents actively track what they've done. They remember what tools they just called, what the results of those tools were, and crucially, what is left to do to actually achieve the main goal. So here's how this all builds into an actual functional workflow. This is the multi-step planning loop that defines an agent's existence. Step 1. It receives and clearly defines the overarching goal. Step 2, it mentally decomposes that big goal into a logical sequence of smaller steps. Step 3, it starts taking actions in the real world using those tools we just talked about. But Step 4 is where the magic happens. Observe and iterate. The agent looks at the results of its tool use. It asks itself, did that web search fail? Did the code I just wrote throw an error? It observes the outcome, updates its internal state, and loops back to try a new action until that initial goal is completely met. Now, let's look at a travel planning analogy so we can really see this in action. Let's cement this architecture in your mind with a real-world comparison. If you ask a system, hey, what's the weather like? A standard chatbot handles that flawlessly. It retrieves the data, gives you the answer in one turn, and goes right back to sleep. But consider this scenario. I want to go to Goa next weekend, and my strict budget is 15,000 rupees. A simple chatbot completely fails here. An agent, however, takes this goal and decomposes it. It uses tools to go out and check live flight prices. It queries hotel APIs to check availability. It calculates the total cost. And if it realizes, this is over the 15,000 rupee budget, it doesn't give up. It iterates. It searches for a cheaper hotel or maybe a different flight time until it can present you with a fully realized, budget-friendly plan. That right there, that is goal pursuit across multiple steps. Which brings us to your agent decision criteria. Let's figure out exactly when you should build what. Here are the hard and fast rules for when you should build an agent and, honestly, when you absolutely shouldn't. Let's look at when chatbots win. If your user wants a single question explanation, something like, what is the time complexity of quicksort, just use a chatbot. If they want one-shot generation, like, write me a cover letter, again, a chatbot is perfect. Basically, if the user is the one driving the conversation step by step, stick to a chatbot. But flip to the other side. Agents win when the task requires multi-step research, where the path the AI takes actually depends on what it discovers along the way. They win when the task requires real-world actions, booking a ticket, sending an email, looking things up live. Ultimately, agents win when the user wants to delegate a task, not just converse about it. Let's apply this framework directly with a quick case study on job matching. Let's put this whole decision matrix to the test. Imagine a user comes to your platform and asks, what is the average salary of an AI specialist intern in India? This is your classic chatbot pattern. It requires simple data retrieval. The system checks its training data or does a quick lookup for a single stat, formulates a natural-sounding sentence, and replies in exactly one turn. Boom, task complete. There is absolutely no need for complex architecture, state tracking, or iterative loops for something this straightforward. But now, imagine that same exact user types. Find current AI specialist intern openings in Bangalore for someone with my CV. Suddenly, the entire shape of the task has transformed. This is the agent pattern. Watch how the architecture kicks in here. Step 1, the agent realizes it's missing context, so it pauses and asks the user to upload their CV. Step 2, it actively calls a search tool to find live, current listings specifically in Bangalore. Step 3, it triggers an analysis tool to dynamically cross-reference the user's uploaded CV against the hard requirements of every single listing it found. And finally, Step 4, it compiles and returns the 5 best match jobs, complete with a customized one-line reason for why it's a match. It's the same user, on the same platform, but because they are delegating a multi-step task, only an agent infrastructure can actually pull this off. Which brings us to a golden rule of modern AI development. And seriously, if you take away nothing else from this explainer today, let it be this. Don't agentify what a chatbot would handle in one shot. Remember that huge mistake we talked about at the very beginning? Picking an agent architecture is only justified when the task's structure actually demands it. If you force multi-step loops and complex tool calling into a system that really just needs to answer simple questions, you aren't building a better product. You're just building a slower, more expensive, and much more easily broken chatbot. So I want to leave you with one final thought to apply to your own work. Think about the very next feature you are planning to build. Look at the next problem you're trying to solve with AI. Ask yourself this, is your next AI project a conversation or is it a delegation? If your users just want to talk and get quick answers, give them a chatbot. But if they want to hand you a goal and walk away while you actually get the work done, well, then it's time to build an agent. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this blueprint helps you build smarter, more efficient, and incredibly effective AI systems. Until next time, keep building intelligently.